Okay, we're back. Like we said, we promised we wouldn't leave you, and we didn't. We're back today for the match, Nightshade versus Potaters. I'm Mrs. Spoonam, here with Hawkshaw. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great. Excited to watch this match. Potaters has been looking a lot better recently compared to at the start of the season from what I've seen. Looks like they've improved quite a lot. So yeah, what are your thoughts going into this?
Yeah, Potaters, they've been on, I mean, they've been on this slow climb. They started off as what many people saw as one of the worst teams because they used to be in that lower division, but they've proven themselves. They've gotten their wins. They're not even last place anymore. They're actually pushing themselves forward. And I'd like to see them take some maps, maybe even the match off of Nightshade here, just to prove that they are actually improving and that they are actually a team to be looking out for.
Yeah, and this is definitely their time to shine. And they're going against, admittedly, a pretty different looking Nightshade. But what are the details for that?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of details, obviously. I mean, like, come on. It's a game like Overwatch. There's going to be a lot of details. It's a competitive situation. There's going to be so much to talk about. I mean, come on. You have these two powerhouse teams walking in tonight. They have almost... I mean, honestly, I feel like after all these weeks, they have a very good idea of what the other team's going to be running, what maps they're going to be picking, what exactly they're going to be rocking with, and I'd like to see it where these teams basically counterpick each other, and they like see, oh, we lost to Nightshade map 1, or oh, we lost to Potatoes map 1. They like to run maybe some Brawl, maybe some Dive, maybe some Monkey, maybe some Ball even, and they're gonna pick something that's just like absolutely just the next map that's absolutely just gonna crush, and just throw the other team off, and allow them to just take advantage.
Yeah, for sure. And going off of like those comps that you mentioned, we've seen a lot of them from both of these two teams. We've seen Nightshade, primarily running the Brawl along with Potaters. It's something pretty much every team in this league has been favoring as like one of their default comps, to say the least. And there will occasionally be some sort of dive or like a double bubble or something like that. We've seen Nightshade actually run some poke compositions a lot as well, where they're running like Sigma Roadhog or something, and it's been kind of 50-50 for them, if I remember correctly. So if they pull that out again, I'm excited to see how that ends up coming into play here. And now let's take a look at the standings, shall we?
Yeah, I mean, you can talk about team comps all day, but you never really know how they work out unless if you go in individually to see what every map happens and what they were running. So instead, let's just take a macroscopic view of it. Checking out the standings, and you see Nightshade at number 5, which is honestly, I didn't realize that they dropped. I wasn't paying enough attention because they were number 3 for a little bit. They were even number 2 at one point, I thought. And suddenly
Yeah.
they're number 5. They've kind of been dropping. They're below UH Charger Blue, who had a very strong performance last night, and that it's basically, to be fair, being number 5 right now, it's a little misleading. They haven't played all their matches for this week, while
Right.
Charger Blue has. So maybe, possibly, they're going to be able to just win this and put themselves above Charger Blue again. But for now, they're sitting middle of the pack.
Yeah, and back with what you were saying about Charge of Blue, they did end up moving up in those standings because of their 3-0 win over Ascent. Got you, by the way, there. Um, and yeah, maybe with this, if Nightshade can pull out a pretty convincing win, they can maybe retake that spot in the standings. And yeah,
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Just some more movement. Any movement is always fun, but bottom of the leaderboard movement is especially exciting. So beyond this, let's check out the fixtures for this week. Which, I mean, we were talking about it last night. They were getting pretty hyped up, and
yeah,
honestly, it's still a 3-0 chain. Not exactly the 3-0 chain that I had predicted, you could say, or I don't know, the predicted, expected, planned for, bet on, any of those, whatever. But it's still 3-0 nonetheless. Keeps the fixtures looking very clean, very beautiful, with just straight 3-0s down the board. And we hopefully might see another one today to keep up the streak, maybe get a first all 3-0 this week. Just, I mean, it sucks, right? Less
yeah, yeah,
Overwatch. It's unfortunate, but I want to see it. It would be kind of exciting, all 3-0s, just see these teams just absolutely shake it up, carry the momentum through into the next week.
yeah. It's we haven't seen it yet, and it's definitely something that could happen. But yeah, the only downside is I want to see my Overwatch, man. Like, yeah,
Yeah, I hear you on that. But beyond that, beyond our standings and our fixtures, of course, let's actually take a look at something a little more interesting is our power rankings. But of course, that's a Rogue Energy kind of thing, am I right? So
yeah.
let's take a look first at Rogue Energy. Wow. I mean, looking at the tubs, they're very clean, very nice, and I know of someone last night who got kind of lucky, but also sticked around and actually watched the stream to be able to win themselves a Rogue Energy starter kit with 5 flavors of their choice. Dacus, congratulations! And let
Yes,
me
sir.
point out real quick, that order is already being shipped out right now. That is some fast, absolutely fast turnover time from Rogue Energy. So if you ever need it, just realize they're quick. They'll be able to get you what you want very soon after you order it.
Yeah, within like 24 hours. Jeez, like that's that's dedication.
Yeah, and
And
talking about dedication, we have all these teams dedicated to these 9 weeks of matches before the top 8. And right now, looking at the power rankings, Nightshade's at the top of S tier, or not at the top of S tier, at the bottom of S tier, but S tier is the top of the leaderboard. So it's still very strong. They're third on there, but they're fifth on the actual standings.
yeah, so yeah, maybe yeah, might be a bit different. Yeah, the standings and power rankings, they're occasionally they occasionally differ from each other at times. Nightshade, they've proven to be just an overall really solid team. Um, you know, while they have dropped a bunch of maps here and there, they have ended up putting up fights against those stronger teams as well. And, that's kind of why they're in that S tier, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. They've shown themselves to be consistent, but consistency for Nightshade right now is kind of difficult. They've gone through
Yeah.
some rough roster changes. They've lost multiple players, and tonight they're playing with 2 fills. They're not even playing with a full roster of their own. It's unfortunate, but I believe in them to power through and still be able to play through this match. And before we actually can, I mean, watch the match, we got to check out what we think. Hawk, for you,
Hmm.
what's your prediction? Who do you think of these two teams will come out on top tonight?
Honestly, it's kind of tough. Nightshade, as you said, they went through some rough roster changes. They lost some players. Uh, they have people coming in last moment for them, and Potaters, they have been looking better recently. But honestly, I still feel like Nightshade will still be able to make it work, if you know what I mean. What do you think?
Well, I'm currently looking at Twitch chat right now, and I'm looking at the odds. And for Potatoes, it's 1 to 12.63. So you could cash out tonight. Just saying, throwing that out there. And I mean, we already saw last night. I'm not exactly a man of statistics. Even though, Nightshade's favored by a lot to win this based on previous performance and who they've beaten and who Potatoes has beaten and whatever. But honestly, uh I'm gonna go with Potatoes. It's a little more exciting. I think
Valid.
that they have that clutch factor. They have some key players and some key plays. Not just players, but actual plays that they can pull out that suddenly
Yeah.
just turn the fight and absolutely just throw the enemy team through a loop out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm honestly kind of torn between picking these two teams. I don't know. I just have to sort of get a pick out there, you know. And with all that being said, let's get into our pre-match interviews.
Yeah, so starting up, we're gonna have to interview Nightshade. I'll be doing that actually, so you can sit back. I'll ask them about the script and everything. Figure out when they're gonna throw in the fourth map, which capture point they're gonna go up in the fifth. So let's actually see if we can get them in here.
Yeah.
Prism, by the way, Prism for Nightshade.
Yeah.
DPS player, played Echo, played Pharah. Uh, I can't think of very many other characters right now, which is unfortunate because I know that he plays a lot more. But that Pharah is especially just dangerous because if Potatoes can't react to it, can't properly counter it, it can just absolutely wreak havoc and distract half their team while killing them at the same time. It does a bit too much for them.
Yeah, he's definitely been a very, very solid DPS player, like you said, on those projectile heroes. And I think we'll be able to get him in here. 1 second.
Oh, there he is. It's Prism.
Hello.
Hello, Prism. Welcome.
Oh, is my mic okay? Can you hear me? Okay.
It's a little quiet, but I believe in our production to pick that up a little bit.
Hold on.
Uh, how you doing tonight, Prism?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you guys?
Good.
I'm feeling
Pretty
all
good.
right. I'm a little nervous going into this. I've bet basically the rest of my points on Potatoes, but I'm interviewing
I'm
you
sorry.
anyway, so you get to talk with me. So, how do you feel about the Potatoes? They've been looking a little more dangerous recently. So,
Yeah.
what is your actual team's thoughts?
Our actual team's thoughts, so I can't really share that much, but we're we're not underestimating them because we did that before and we regretted it. Not against Potatoes, but against another team, and we really don't want to do that again. So our strategy is going to be the same as if we were up against Havoc or WVU or any other team. Just do what we do best.
Okay. Well, what would you say you do best? If like not exactly like team
Yeah,
comp
I got
wise,
you.
but like as a team, what is your like as a six-man team or six-person team, uh, what would you say is your like keystone, top priority, carries your team more than anything else? Not a player, but like as a team, what do you do?
Play our game. Don't let them do what they want. If they're trying to stage a dive, play our game. Do what we want to happen instead of what they're trying to make.
Words to live by. Take that initiative. Let your team do what they want. Don't let the other team do what they want. It's, I mean, it sounds basic, but when you think about it enough, it'll work out for you. Uh, honestly, that's pretty important. And at the moment, I don't have anything else to be asking you, Prism. Hawkshaw, do you have anything?
Mm, I don't think so, other than the one I ask like pretty much every time I interview someone. Is there anything you want to say to your opponent before we send you back?
Uh, good luck, guys. That's basically it. Just have fun. no matter what the outcome is, it'll be a fun game.
Having fun. I like it. I like having fun. I've known a lot of people that enjoy the game and enjoying playing on these teams, and hopefully you get to have fun, you get to have a good game, and we get to see you potentially pop off. But for now, I'm gonna have to send you off, Prism. You have a good
Okay.
game. You good luck to you.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, goodbye now, Prism. I'll
See
send
ya.
you off.
Yep.
All right, so that was Prism for 413 Nightshade with his interview, and on the other side of things for Potaters, we are going to be interviewing another DPS player, Aragu Legend. I'm gonna see if he's ready real fast.
Hopefully he's as wholesome as Prism, given just a casual good luck. But
Yeah.
I mean, in game, he's kind of devastating with the Doomfist. He shows up, he pulls up, he just uses the cooldowns, gets value with them, and just leaves the enemy team absolutely left for dead. It's unfortunate to be playing and faced against him.
Yeah. Nightshade is gonna have one hell of an obstacle. Uh, with him in the lineup on the other side of things, and we are gonna get him in here real quick. Aragu Legend, what is up, dude? How are you feeling, man?
Howdy, I'm doing dandy. How are you guys?
We're good. We're good. So knowing that Nightshade is a pretty strong team, you from what I've seen, you guys have also been looking better. Um, but like, is there anything that you guys have been like going through or like thinking of or preparing for? Not really like doesn't really have to be dedicated to like team comps, but is there anything you've just done overall to prepare for a team like this?
Not really more specifically towards this team, but in general, we're trying to improve this team. So we've been learning new comps, as you probably saw in the last game. Been working on our double bubble, and just generally having way better communication, which has paid off. And yeah, that's basically it.
Nice, nice. So, wait, sorry, give me 1 second. So, yeah, has like, you don't have to like completely answer this if you don't want to like reveal any strats or anything, but has like the learning those new comps been straying you away from that sort of brawl, or like what has been like what have you been feeling recently in regards to that?
So, our tank line actually really likes double bubble, and they're preferring it a lot over brawl. We're having a lot more fun with double bubble, and I feel like that's helping our gameplay, and it's helping us have the drive to improve. And so I feel like we'll still have the brawl in our back pocket, but we're really enjoying being able to play and benefit from having double bubble.
Nice. And coordination wise, I've seen that you guys have been a lot more coordinated and just a lot more prepared for like whatever comes your way. Was there has there been like anything specific you've been working on to improve that coordination?
Uh, Generally tank callouts because our tanks are a little quiet, so we've been
Mm.
working together so that we could call engages, and it's been improving a lot in that regard. And also just general ability usage like calling bubbles and just like when ult planning and etc.
Awesome, awesome. And I think that's all I have to say. Bo, is there anything you want to ask him real quick?
Not really. I mean, you were told good luck from Prism, if you haven't heard.
I have.
Nice, nice. I like it. So, hopefully you get to have a nice, casual, fun, competitive game. A little
Casual
bit of a,
competitive, of course.
yeah, a little bit of an oxymoron, but it's okay. Anytime.
Yeah, anytime. All
So,
right.
yeah, I'm gonna have to send you off, send you
All
back to
right.
your team.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good luck in the game, and hopefully you'll pop off and show up and play the game so we can keep seeing you.
Thanks. See you on the other side.
Later. So that was Aragu Legend, who has been dubbed by a few the raid boss, and I think that's all we have for now. We're gonna take a short break just to make sure everything is settled and ready to go, and we're gonna be going into Busan for map 1. So we will be seeing you after that.
All right. Welcome back to the match. Potaters versus Nightshade, or Nightshade versus Potaters. Depends on who you're rooting for. Personally, I'm on the Potaters side. Met with Hawkshaw on the Nightshade side. And we're ready for an exciting match.
Yeah, definitely gonna be a. I think it's definitely gonna be a close one, seeing as Potaters has definitely improved over the last few weeks, and we're gonna be going into Busan as soon as we get the confirmation from both teams that they are ready. What do you expect to see here from both sides?
Well, you said it might be close. Personally, I think it's going to be more hectic than close. Potaters, they like the Doomfist. The Doomfist just completely throws everything through a loop, and they said they like double bubble, which, if you haven't seen it, it just has your monkey going into the backline. It has your DPS sometimes going to the backline, while the rest of your team just pincers in. So it just completely flips around where you're looking. And so if you're watching one team, and then suddenly the map is just players from red team all around them, or players from blue team all around. So it just looks like a bunch of 1v1s going on, and it's hard to keep track of. But honestly, it's some controlled chaos. It is very quickly, players will drop, and the winner of the fight will quickly be revealed.
And speaking of double bubble, this is a pretty good map for that composition.
Ready for battle.
Looks like at least on the side of 4-3 Nightshade, they're probably gonna be running that.
Yeah, wait, we got lied to. Yeah, okay, Potato said they like double bubble, but okay, obviously. Nightshade's a bit more favoring it on this map.
Yeah, yeah, I expected it to be the other way around with Nightshade running the brawl. Although they have ran double bubble on this map before, so and we'll see how it ends up working against this brawl comp from the other side.
Yeah, I like weak doubling on this Widow, but if Prism just contests them, unless if he gets some nice headshots, Prism could just completely shut him off, not allow him to get the picks that he needs. But very quickly, Potatoes is able to take the control of the center of the map, and Nightshade is just kind of bunkered in, not able to push out for right now.
Yeah, and there's already a pick on the Suspect.
And on Winsy, oh my. Weak Dumpling is just completely shutting down all of Nightshade. The very quick Lucio speed boost out onto the point, out into the open map, forcing Nightshade back, and suddenly they're pushing a one-on-one into a Widow. Very hard to walk into.
And they just gained so much room, which allowed Weak Dumpling to get those two initial picks, and he almost got one onto Prism as well. And yeah, already almost 20% for Potaters, and Weak Dumpling already has these infra sites up.
Yeah, that's I mean, compared to the rest of the team, I mean, Widow's ult charge is quick, but jeez, and Suspect goes for a deep dive, but doesn't get very far, and is currently trapped in enemy lines, goes down for it, doesn't really get the support from his team that he really wanted, but Scythe trying to contest the Widow, but he's just on an Ashe, who doesn't headshot like Widow can.
Yeah, and Suspect, I don't think the rest of his team was on really the same page, because he did go for that dive and ended up in sort of like the middle high ground, not really onto Weak Dumpling, and no one was even there to remotely try and follow up.
Yeah, now we have Prism on the flank, all the way on the coast, and a Ragu Legend just trying to shut down Suspect with Monkey. But this core, Winsy, Scythe, and Octave have just struggled to walk out. However, Weak Dumpling finally goes down, allowing them to step out and actually play the game. But with Suspect down, it's going to be difficult walking into a Reinhardt, as he's just able to control this point, stop Winsy from walking out and actually taking this point. They're stalling it. They're staying on, keeping the tick up. Finally gets to 73, where Nightshade's able to swap it for the first time.
Yeah, and Scythe was on another angle there as the rest of his team went to the point, and he ended up finding picks onto I believe it was Weak Dumpling, and that just gave Nightshade an opening by allowing them to just go from multiple angles onto the Potaters brawl comp.
Yeah, and now we have suspects setting up on this high ground that Weak Dumpling was playing on for so long, and HSG gets shot down, probably from a scythe bullet that just body shot him or headshot him as he went up. Didn't expect that burst, and trades off with Scythe is very relevant. Maybe going to be able to recontest because Scythe won't have the sight lines that he really needs to set up with to actually control this open area.
There are a lot of ultimates coming online for 4-1-3 Nightshade. They have both those tank ults coming up. They have the copy. I assume Prism will end up copying the Reinhardt. He copies the McCree, and the point is flipped over.
And our Ragu Legend instantly picks off both of Nightshade's supports. It's going to be very difficult to stay on this point and sustain, but Conk Knight being booped off by Suspect's Primal is an enormous start, and Suspect's going for Conquistador as well, but it doesn't matter. Scythe is able to clean it up with the Bob, able to force all of Potaters off the point, and Potaters still got the cap and then got to 90, and they still have some players alive who are able to back up and potentially quickly recontest, because all they need is one more fight, and this point is theirs.
Yeah, and it's looking good. Oh, maybe not looking as good with Weak Dumpling going down. However, they do have that Earth Shatter online for this upcoming fight. But 4-3 Nightshade, they've held on to these supportals, and they could use them to great effect here. Maybe give that nano to the Winston as Potaters tries to go into this point.
Instantly, the Shatter knocks down Octave and Winsy. Just absolutely gets run down by this Brawl comp. Very well played by Conk Knight, just completely shutting down these players who are overextended for Nightshade. And now they're chasing down Suspect. He's 1 HP and only has his Mercy heals. And he's trying to escape, but it's final fight. And Magma Boy with the window and Conquistador with the grab. It's going to be very difficult for Nightshade to actually sustain on the point when all 3 of their squishies are captured on this stairwell. Now Potato is able to swarm the point and just brawl with the Reinhardt. If they can take out this ball, they're going to be able to just hold on to this point and probably just win it. Especially if HSG gets a late pick off on Octave, who's not going to be there for this final fight.
Oh my god! Suspect got booped back. Sorry, he couldn't touch. And Winsy died super late in that fight, even later than Octave did, and they just weren't able to touch.
That was kind of a masterclass by Potaters. They did the rotation that they wanted. They went coast, and whenever they went coast, it felt like Nightshade wasn't ready for them. They had Suspect up on the high ground, ready to contest Weak Dumpling, but Weak Dumpling would die, respawn, his team would push, and then Weak Dumpling would come down from main, creating a distraction as the team pushed onto the point. So suddenly, there's a split attention from Nightshade, where they want to push onto the point and contest it, but they have to deal with Weak Dumpling, because he's a monster with this sniper.
And now the script is flipping, and now Potaters is on the double bubble, and 4-1-3 Nightshade is on the Brawl. Last time we saw them here, I believe they ran that Sigma Roadhog comp. So now we're seeing something different from them, and the double bubble from Potaters, like I said, a Ragu Legend on the Doomfist, which has been oh so feared.
Yeah, but Conk Knight goes in probably too deep onto this Brawl comp, forces out the lamp, but a Ragu Legend's not going to be able to get out of there alive. And Weak Dumpling gets taken out by Prism on the flank. It's very difficult for Potaters to survive now. A Reinhardt swinging on you and a D.Va shotgunning you down with the Prism shotguns as well. It's a bit too much to handle.
Now they're going to flip over to that Brawl comp. HSG is going to move over to the BAP. Weak Dumpling over to the McCree. HSG on the Lucio rather. And Con Knight on the Reinhardt.
There we go. Magma Boy swaps over to the BAP. I was waiting for it. He was on Mercy for a second, scaring me. Thought they were going to run out with Lucio Mercy, which is basically a no-no, but they fixed it. And already Nightshade's kind of just standing back, playing the point, and trying to hold down this one lane.
Yeah, and look at this. Nightshade trying to push really aggressively. And it's a big shatter, hits both tanks and HSG. That immortality field is down, and Nightshade is able to clean up really fast there. Great
yeah,
play.
felt like a Ragu Legend was getting some big flank value. Got an enormous seismic slam onto basically 5 members of Nightshade. But tragically, a single seismic slam won't win you the fight. It's not like a 300 damage D.Va bomb. It's a nice ability though. And I mean, coming up on a grab plus the Doom Pistol for a nice space jam might be enough.
Prism with the Dust Blossom. He's gonna find 2 with that. He's gonna end up finding both supports. He's gonna find a Ragu Legend as well. He and Scythe cleaning up in the kill feed, and they still have more ultimates to work with. Potaters switching to that brawl later on in the round. It's not going well for them.
Yeah, Prism, absolutely beautiful flank. He was completely hidden in this little shack and was able to just step out, find both supports who just weren't ready at all. They were kind of standing AFK, waiting for their team to get ready to push.
Now the Space Jam is online for Potaters, provided Winsy doesn't eat that grab from Conquistador. There's the bomb from Winsy. The Meteor Strike about to come in. Winsy ends up killing off Weak Dumpling, and this is looking very good for them. They have point presence. They have the advantage in numbers.
Yeah, Conquistador tried to go in with it, but the bomb from Winsy, very nicely placed and timed, actually, where as Potaters pushed up, they had to turn around and deal with it, which just distracted them too much to actually initiate their own game plan of the Space Jam. So that was well played by Nightshade. They won the first fight versus the double bubble and were able to just completely defend with some nice Prism flanks and honestly some very well played Rhine from Suspect.
Now we're even on Busan. We're going to Mecha Base, where I assume both teams will be running the brawl. It was just such a disadvantage that Potaters was put into switching to that brawl later in the round. They were just so down at ultimates when even with as early as they swapped, they were still down in those ultimates, and it just led to Nightshade taking that. And now Potaters is going to be running that double bubble here.
Yeah, it's a little odd. We see this brawl comp that, I mean, it feels like this is the brawl map, but they still want to run the double bubble. They like it. They think that their monkey's going to be able to get that distraction value, maybe bait out the lamp and survive. Aragu Legend goes for a big diagonal punch, tries to get value, but now he's just behind with no abilities as his team's getting walked on.
There he is. He goes in for the dive. He ends up killing Suspect, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Oh wait, he gets
well, a
right
res and a big anti forcing Nightshade back is going to be enough for Aragu to go back in. A little greedy from him, but Ink Splash is half and potentially killable as Conquistador full charge and very low on HP. But as long as they can keep him up, they might be able to just prevent any of Nightshade from walking forward on him.
But unfortunately for Potaters, that's what Nightshade is exactly doing here. Aragu Legend in the back, he has to be careful. He ends up getting out. Some of the members on Nightshade on low HP getting healed up now, and Nightshade, they have the point now, and this is going to be rough pushing through this, especially when a two-man Shatter comes in. But that's a big anti from HSG, and Scythe is going to go down as a result.
Yeah, no DPS now for Nightshade, allowing Conk Knight to just go deep with the monkey, just charging up the primal for next fight, hopefully. But they got to deal with this Ink Splash on point. If Ink Splash is allowed to stay alive on BAP, the tanks just might not die in time, and there could be a recontest.
Another anti from HSG hitting Suspect, and he ends up going down. The Meteor Strike is out, but Nightshade has already been finding picks, but Scythe, he's on 1 HP. He's going to end up going down. The Immortality Field is out from Ink Splash, and now they don't have anything left to survive on this point. But the rest of their team is still finding these picks.
Yeah, it's just Conk Knight trying to cap point, but that's not enough. Oh, Primaling, I don't like it. Using the Primal just to run away back to the team, and honestly, dying there might have been the better choice because they're still caught in this choke point, and they still have to push through, but now they don't have the Primal to do it.
Yeah, and they're gonna opt to go the other side this time around. Suspect knows it, and they're ready for it.
Suspect almost gets burnt down. Prism's Death Blossom just absolutely shreds through Potaters' HP, completely sends it back to spawn, no chance for them. Aragu Legend drops as well, and it's up to Conquistador's grab. Has to be massive for Aragu Legend to just farm into with Conk Knight, hopefully, as they swap to Rhine Lucio to be able to come back in time. Going under, trying to just reach point.
Yeah, and they're 94% for them. They do end up getting to the point. They'll have ultimates to work with, but Aragu Legend's already down.
Conquistador's grab gets eaten by Winsy. We expected it last round, but it comes in this round, allowing Nightshade to just clean up this point. It's not going to be enough. Without that grab, they really needed it very quickly, but it took a little too long. So Nightshade comes up for not exactly dominant on first point, but when they won the first point, when they won the first fight, they won the map, or the point, I guess.
Yeah, and they were looking so good on that brawl comp. Potaters will need to sort of rethink their strats here. The double bubble on Mecha Base, it just didn't work out. you can't really be pushing through, especially with chokes as narrow as that. It's really hard for them to just go through that, especially with the Rhine in your face, with the Diva in your face, and just all these people just shotgunning you down before you can even do anything. So yeah, it's rough for them, and hopefully they'll take that into consideration. The double bubble did end up looking pretty good. No, they were running the brawl on downtown. So yeah, I think if they had just switched to that brawl comp, or like had just started out with it on Sanctuary, maybe the story here could be different. But unfortunately for them, that's not something to be thinking about anymore with Nightshade taking that first map.
Yeah, I mean, winning first map, it feels good. Losing first point though, so Potatoes still showing signs of life. They weren't just 99, well, 100 to 0, I suppose, both points, but they got a point of their own. They showed that their brawl versus double bubble is strong enough, so hopefully they can take advantage of that, find the Nightshade weak points, and just exploit them as we go into map 2. But first, of course, we have our commercial break. Stick around, we'll be back with a hybrid map chosen by Potaters as we go into the rest of this series. And we're back, of course, with our hybrid map as promised. But I'm a little surprised. They're going Kings Row. I mean, honestly, it's basically everyone's favorite map. If you were to poll, I'd say probably over. Well, not over. There are so many maps in the game. I'd say about a quarter of the players of the game would say Kings Row is their favorite map. It's so fun. It's so enjoyable for basically everyone. You can do so many weird things and get these crazy flanks that Ragu Legend is probably looking for. And I'm pretty excited for it. I don't think we've seen the Brawl versus Brawl exactly. It's been a little weird, like on that Bongo map where they started on the double bubble, then swapped to Brawl, and Nightshade was on it the whole time, so it was just a little awkward.
Yeah.
Kings Row, we get to see a more even playing field of probably Brawl versus Brawl, unless the Potatoes rolls out with some really weird strat.
Yeah, we're gonna potentially see the full-on brawl versus brawl. None of the like mid-round swaps or anything. Assuming both teams start out on the brawl, I think on the attack we're probably gonna see more of that Doomfist from a regular legend. I think it could definitely work, especially if you coordinate things like Zarya bubbles and stuff as you're going in and brawling. Then I think it could definitely work out.
I mean they're on attack, so we can't judge it yet. I'm assuming.
We'll disregard that.
Yeah, I'm assuming something is gonna swap up, especially with. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Just making sure.
Okay.
Don't want to
okay.
see the double bubble, honestly. It'd be a little awkward. We saw it on the mecha base. It didn't work out for them. And King's Row is especially weird, where you have to jump to high grounds, and it just takes too much brain power, honestly. Playing Reinhardt's a bit more enjoyable. You get to swing, you get to throw your fire strikes, you get to shatter, and just dominate the enemy main tank.
Yeah, and I almost said Hellfire out of habit because like this roster just reminds me of that almost completely. But Nightshade, they're gonna be rolling out with the full brawl, the McCree May, the Bap Lucio. Potaters, a bit of a different look with the Zarya and the Doomfist, but again, it could definitely work provided everything is coordinated properly for them. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Arago Legend already setting up all the way behind, and he goes in very deep on site, gets the bubble, and gets out, just completely baited out the Immortality field. Unfortunately, Conk Knight got just completely walled off and charged away by Suspect. But at the same time, Arago Legend and Conquistadev, just this absolute monstrosity, able to walk forward. Conquistadev's full charge, and there's no shield in his face to stop him, so he's just completely dominating the enemy team.
Free range for Conquistadev there, and you know, I think that was a result from Arago Legend just going in and killing off Suspect. That just gave the rest of his team so much room to work with. And look at this, they're just cleaning up once again.
Yeah, I mean, just talking about that Suspect kill, it felt like Suspect was going for like the safest pin in the world. It didn't even take a full second to pin Conk Knight. There was a wall between him and the enemy team. But at the same time, he died for it. So it's just this absolute punish from Arago Legend and the rest of Potaters, able to capitalize on him being so close and not at the corner. So suddenly, Conky's at full charge and still able 80, 90 to grab already.
Yeah, that's a pretty quick ult being built up, but yeah, those ultimates coming out from 4th and Nightshade, that's gonna immediately clean up the rest of Potaters. That was the window coming out, and then the big shatter from Suspect to seal the deal. Arago Legend's still in the back though. Look at this.
He's sneaking. He's trying to be as sneaky as possible. Crouching the whole time, not trying to get spotted. Wincy might be looking for him, but he never saw him. And he's all the way behind, ready for his team.
Oh no.
But goes in on Winzy, which is interesting, but still gets out, lives, has his ult. They have the Space Jam combo as long as Conquistadev's grab doesn't get eaten. I want to see them use it so aggressively. Look at that, Winzy has no DM, he chucks it in, gets 5 with it, absolutely massive grab, but no Space Jam hits. Arago Legend had already used it, so there wasn't any real follow-up, and Conk Knight just gets dominated by that Winzy bomb as he charged in deep.
Yeah, there's still a fight breaking out. They still want to fight this as much as they can. They even commit the window. They do demech Winzy, so that's an opening for them. But the Rhine is still down for them. He is coming back into the fray soon. And Suspect is down as well to Arago Legend with the help of that stun from Mouse. And they're gonna be pushing up.
Winzy,
but Winzy
you can't be doing that.
No, you can't, bro.
He just went to the corner, knew that all of Potaters was about to walk up, and just washed him. That was well played by Winzy. He got demeched earlier in the fight as the rest of his team backed up, and he wasn't able to get there in time. And it feels like, I mean, when there's a baby diva in the enemy team, it's a lot harder to kill him.
Yeah, and it's a bit scary because you just don't want that remake coming in. And now, going into this next fight, both Rhines have their shatters, so we're going to be seeing those main tank mind games coming into play here. Suspect around the corner, looking for them, pushing the card.
Arago Legend goes in deep, and shatters get traded off, but Suspects is a bit bigger, especially with a window double fire strike kill. And I mean, Arago Legend goes in with his ult, but it's a bit late because, I mean, when 4 members of your team are dead, you're probably not going to be able to turn that.
Yeah, and that was a great window from Ink Splash. Wincy and Suspect were just able to get so much value out of it. Suspect ended up shattering Magma Boy before they could even get behind the shield. And the rest of Potaters just melted behind that window.
And right now we're seeing Scythe and Prism go for absolutely enormous flanks with their ults. They do not respect the Potaters, and they get picks for it, and they just get this aggressive push that allowed them for this. It was very quick, but I mean, they still win it.
Yeah. So, looks like going back to the drawing board once again for Potaters. They do almost have another Graviton online. They do have the Deadeye, but the bomb from Winzy could be huge here. Octave is almost at that sound barrier as well, which could completely negate this Graviton if he builds in time. He is at 98% though, so yeah, he'll be able to get it before Conquistador can even get that grab.
And right now we see the split from the team. Aragu and the rest of his team going up high ground, while Mouse on a big flank with the High Noon. They want to distract Winzy, get him to use his DM. But Prism scouts Mouse quickly, I suppose. But the High Noon also gets walled off, so it's just not going to see anyone until late. Gets Suspect though, allowing Conquistador to potentially just free fire into the enemy team.
He does end up going down to Scythe, and you know, even when it's looking good for Potaters, even when they're using ultimates and getting kills, Nightshade still ends up finding a way back into the fight and end up flipping the script in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, the absolute chaos that Potaters is causing just isn't working out for them. Winzy being able to eat up so much damage from Mouse and try to peel against a Ragu Legend. And Mouse right now swapping over to... No, just swapping back to Kree. Thought about some very interesting hero picks like Junk, but decided Kree's probably just best. Able to flash away Suspect, and here we have Conquistador.
Oh my
Can't
god!
grab when you're all on your back. Absolutely flattened by Suspect's shatter yet again. Conk Knight is struggling to block them because Suspect's just going for such aggressive plays, and he's just getting 5, 6 man shatters.
And they still have both of their DPS ultimates online. Nightshade is doing a masterclass in cycling these ultimates right now. Conquistador hasn't even been able to use his grab for like the last, what, 2-3 fights?
Yeah, that's what it feels like at this point. But I mean, when you're afraid of that diva on the other side, it's a real mental boon. And I mean, B coming out saves a Ragu Legend, allows him to get off his ult, but there's no grab down, so he can't really. Oh, but just in time, gets it off. Flattens Ink Splash and the Immortality Field, and right now it's going the way of Potaters. Last second, barely got the grab off in time, just barely snuck it by so that Aragu Legend could Space Jam on him. And luckily, they should be able to push through this cart, at the very least make it difficult for Nightshade to touch, but it looks like Nightshade's not going to be able to. They're going to get second point, a minute 30 seconds on the clock, and keep moving it, hopefully trying to cap it all 3.
Prism is going to move over to the Reaper here. It's going to be able to provide a lot more damage onto a Ragu Legend as well if he ends up going for those dives into the backline. There's the bomb from Winzy. Ends up catching HSG, and Potaters, they're just backing out already. A Ragu Legend, he's getting the rocket punch out as well, but he and Conquistador end up going down too.
Yeah, the rest of the team getting cleaned up. That bomb kill really just forced them back. I mean, when you have all that area to work with, it feels nice, but a single bomb just throws your entire team into a corner and allows all of Nightshade to just push up and fight you in that corner while you're pinned down and very, very difficult to actually get out of there.
Yeah, and both the support ults are online for 4-3 Nightshade. There's the Dragon Strike from Mouse to split off the team. The Shatter is gonna catch HSG, and Suspect follows up on it immediately. But there's the window.
Aragu goes deep, trying to stop the High Noon because he knew he went too deep, but
Prism
unfortunately
just
goes
free
down.
reign in the back. Oh my god.
Yeah, right now
Prism,
Winzy
yeah.
remeched as well, almost at a remech, but I just want to point out he went for the greediest play, all the way behind, flew in. Unfortunately, HSG can't touch. Aragu Legend can though, but with the rest of his team getting zoned out, it's almost impossible to keep it on there for very long.
Pawn Knight found 4 with that Earth Shatter, and Potaters, they still couldn't follow up with it. It's just he ends up getting Scythe, but that's not going to be enough. He ends up going down. Same with HSG, who I think went down 4 times on this point alone, and that's not what you really want to see. They'll just have to be content with getting it a little bit past that second point.
Yeah, I mean, second point of this of King's Row can either be the easiest point or the hardest point to capture. For Potatoes there, it was the hardest. Hopefully, they can mimic that and make it so Nightshade can't even get it through at all and just win this map flat out, make it a 1-1 score, and push us on later. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, and the brawl, I'd say Nightshade, they were just overall looking better. Even and like Iraqi Legend on the Doomfist, as good as he is on it, I don't think it was just working all that well. He wasn't really using that the Meteor Strike to really combo with Conquistador's grab, and I don't really know if he was just on the same page overall with the rest of his team, because there were times where he was just going into the back, not really with the rest of his team being able to follow up, and he wasn't really getting that many bubbles from Conquistador either. He's going to be rolling out with the Doomfist once again on the defense here, so maybe it might be a different story here, but we'll need to see.
I mean, honestly, I feel like Iraqi Legend's putting in work right now. I suppose, disagree, because obviously the coordination's a little off, but as long as Conquistador's bubbling him and he's getting his value with his cooldowns and getting out, that's all that takes. But immediately Conk Knight gets pinned in,
Oh my God.
walled off for that greedy Fire Strike play, and just completely crushed by Nightshade. They knew it was coming and they knew how to counter it. And Iraqi Legend gets pinned down as well. HSG goes down to a quick headshot, and that's probably the fastest fight I've seen.
Yeah, that was quick. Prism been providing so much value on the Reaper and on the Mei. As we saw there, he walled off Con Knight before he could even do anything, and he ended up finding even more picks throughout that fight, just cleaning up. And that's a huge time bank for 4 through Nightshade. They're looking great right now.
Yeah, I mean, Conquistador already 50 to grab. He got a lot of charge very quickly, allowed him to build it up, but a window for the enemy team forces them back, forces them to use Lamp as well, and they're just full backing with a Iraqi Legend in the back line. Like, not even in the back line, just completely flanking, ready to just do whatever he wants. On to Ink Splash and Prism, shuts down Ink Splash instantly, gets the Lamp out as well, and honestly, no BAP for Nightshade makes this an impossible fight to win.
Yeah, and they're just going to clean up. They'll be able to hold around these arches, around the payload. And yeah, this is what Potaters needs. They need to stabilize here. Winsy better not get demeched here. He needs to be very careful here. He's low on HP and away from the rest of the team. Now Ink Splash is there to provide the heals. And looks like they're going to be going with the high ground.
Oh no, Iraqi Legend. Please run. Okay, he gets out, luckily. Potaters able to back up a little bit, take their point, take where they want to play. And it looks like Conk Knight a bit overextended from the rest of his team as he gets walled off as well. But Deadeye from Mouse shuts down Suspect Shield, who's in absolutely nowhere right now. Half HP, charges in though, and just gets shut down for it. Ink Splash down as well, and at that point, it's all up to Scythe to just get those high ground picks, but I mean, it's not going to come. It's just a 5v1, basically. That's not going to happen.
And despite Iraqi Legend going down there, he ended up opening that with the pick onto Ink Splash, as well as the DMEC onto Winsy, which just allowed Potaters to easily win that fight. And now the Tankles are online for them, so they could use them to great effect here. But Nightshade, they're building up their own ultimates to work with. That Shatter from Con Knight not going to find anything though.
Yeah, Conquistador is full charge with grab, but gets shattered at the very edge of the shatter. Oh, that's unfortunate. And the bomb forces everyone off. But, I mean, if you're Potaters, you didn't invest anything except for a shatter, which is okay. And, I mean, you have recontest, you have grab, and a Deadeye, and your own beat versus no beat from Nightshade. So this grab is practically free as long as they can get it past the greedy defense matrix of Winsy.
Yeah, Ink Splash will also have that window, which they could put right here to force them to back up, even to just back off for now. They'll eventually need to go in at some point, but Prism has already killed off a Iraqi Legend, and there's the window Fire Strike kill on the Magma Boy, and I don't even know if they want to recontest at this point.
No, that was very brutal. They peeked it when they shouldn't have, and
oh no,
Conquistador
no.
also gets called out. And right now, it's becoming a last fight They have to struggle to, and just straggle onto the point with 4 minutes 30 seconds for Nightshade. Conquista needs to get moving. Come on, man. You gotta get to that point, or else it's just gonna win. And there he goes. He moves out with Aragu Legend, gets the beacon gates. Aragu Legend gets booped off during his seismic slam, completely shut down. And Scythe with the high noon, gonna clean it up, take out Magma Boy. A big grab from Conquista, but there's not enough follow-up at all. It's impossible at this point. They get cleaned off, and Nightshade takes that pretty handled.
Yeah, a very dominant attack from 4-3 Nightshade. They just, I don't know, they just took advantage of so many things throughout that. They were just able to use their roles more efficiently. And here's Prism once again. Again, just providing so much value on the Mei throughout this attack as well.
Oh, he was not aiming for that, Lucio, but it happens. That's projectile DPS for you. But yeah, that fight, the Prism absolutely deserves that play of the game. It doesn't show it, but that wall onto Conk Knight kind of shut him down. Kind of just completely destroyed the defense instantly and gave them that 4 minute 30-second time bank as they rolled into third.
Yeah, and you know, Potaters, they're down 2-0 right now. Not looking good for them right now. We'll need to see what they end up going with on Escort. I'm not really sure what they're gonna end up going with, but we'll see. We'll see on the other side of this short intermission.
Yeah, catch you off a quick break, and we'll be back with that Escort map. Hopefully Potaters can reverse sweep it, take it to the map 5, but first we have to get through another map 3. And we're back. I mean, at this point, it's kind of routine. You can expect us after that commercial break. We're gonna come back. We would never abandon you like that. And before we actually get into this, Adam-esque, some guy that I may or may not know from a team that I may or may not play on in this tournament, has gifted a sub. Thank you very much. If we get 9 more, like last night, we can get away another Rogue Energy Starter Kit with a shaker and 5 flavors of your choice. Hopefully, we can give that away, hand out that free stuff, and get really, give back to the community.
Yeah, definitely means a lot, and it's just like you said, just a way for us to give back to you guys. The support means a whole lot, and yeah, once again, thank you, Adamesk, for that gifted sub. Absolutely huge. And now back to the game. We're gonna be going into Havana. This is Potaters
Yes.
map pick. They are down
Yes,
2-0.
that's what I wanted to
Havana.
see. I wanted to see Havana. I didn't like the Kings Row pick. I get that Aragu Legend is an absolute crazy man, goes on the Doomfist, tries to go for these insane plays, gets some instant pickoffs onto Ink Splash on BAP, but in the end of the game, at the end of the day, I feel like Nightshade just had the better brawl. And I'm glad to see Havana, because if it were Rialto, I feel like that brawl v brawl would just become a miserable situation for Potaters. And I mean, Root is just awkward to say the least. I don't really want to think about Root. So I'm glad they went Havana. Get those long sight lines. Get Weak Dumpling some insane. Well, maybe not Weak Dumpling. He might be subbed out, but get some nice sight lines for their sniper, and hopefully crush Nightshade and in the reverse sweep.
Yeah, but in all honesty, it's Havana, and on the side of Nightshade, they have Scythe, and from what I've seen before, he's just incredible on those hit scans, on the Widow, on the Ashe, you name it. For a map like this, I think this could really favor anything that Nightshade will want to do. So we're gonna make sure these teams are ready real fast.
Yeah, I mean, ready as they ever will be for a third map. Honestly, Havana lends itself to that spawn hole that people have been checking out a lot more. It used to be more of a meme. Now it's an actual strategy. Just throwing your Reinhardt to block off some door and just absolutely swing. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's breakable, and that brawl comp is just rough to run on Havana. In the end of in the end, it just becomes a difficult comp to run. I have a feeling that Potaters knows what they're doing here. They know how to break that close hold if it does come out, and at the end of it, they're gonna have better comps. They're gonna have better strategies that are just gonna win them out for the map, and hopefully for the next 3 maps if that comes to it.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, the door hold, I'm not, it was with the previous patch that we were seeing that door hold a lot, with Brawl just being so much more viable. Even though teams have been running it a whole lot, we could maybe end up, just seeing those different comps, those long range ones, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, long range comps on Havana, they kind of go hand in hand. Bread and butter, peanut butter and jelly sandwich kind of thing.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other metaphors for like a pair. What, peas in a pod? It's just something that you'd love to see. That's just those enormous sight lines. I know Scythe on the Widow is going to be having a field day on at least defense, maybe even attack. They might be running out on some hybrid brawl with a sniper. It's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to say the least, seeing how they play around these sight lines that they haven't played with the other maps so far.
Yeah, definitely. Just different overall. From the first 2 maps that we played. Third point, especially, just giving me all sorts of PTSD from just trying to get across third point and just being absolutely dominated by an enemy sniper, no matter what happens. It's rough. It's rough, and if it gets to that point, then it could be rough depending on which side you're on. And now we are ready to go into the map.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, hopefully these teams have taken their time, thought about what they actually want to run, because to be fair, Potatoes did take a moment to actually choose that map. I feel like they thought
Yeah.
about it, thought about what comp they're gonna run, thought about what comp Nightshade's probably gonna run, and they think they're gonna be able to dominate.
Yeah.
And right now, we're just waiting. Casual, 23 more seconds before we can actually see their comps. We've talked about it, we've seen it, but of course, you've seen this stream, you've checked it out, you're here right now, why not drop a follow? Only less than 50 more followers to 500 follower giveaway of some 413 swag. So be sure, hit the follow button, stick around, and you might be able to win it. You'll be eligible as soon as you follow, and stay tuned.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I gotta get that merch, dude. And we're seeing the double shield coming out from 4-3 Nightshade here, albeit with the Mercy Zen as opposed to a BAP or something like that. So it's gonna be interesting. You know, Ink Splash on the Mercy will be able to just pocket Prism to provide a lot of spam damage, and that on top of Scythe on the Widow to just provide so much pressure wherever you walk. It might be rough for Potaters here, especially if they roll out with the Rhine Zarya.
Not gonna lie. Oh, I was gonna say this might be the first time I saw Pharah on both sides of a Havana play, but it's not the fact. It's not the truth. Ragu's on the Kree. They're playing full
Oh my
brawl,
God,
but
there
with
it
a
is.
Mercy that instantly gets headshot by Scythe on this long sight line. They need to rely on Mouse to just pressure it out. But now Aragu Legend swapping to Tracer wants to
Never mind.
stop that Widow gameplay.
Mouse with the headshot kill on the Scythe, but he ends up going down to Prism as a result. And, you know, HSG just swapped off the Mercy, so no res available for them. They do end up splitting off Winzy and Octave on this enclosed high ground, though, to the right of them.
Yeah, right now Winzy and Octave are just playing this very close, interesting corner where they're enclosed, but now Potaters recognize this and they're just running at him. Octave gets flash banned and just completely destroyed by a regular legend. Down the support is just completely difficult with just mercy heals for your double shield comp, especially facing down Brawl.
Oh my God, Scythe is going absolutely nuts right now. He's found what? He found like what, 2-3 picks in that fight alone?
Yeah, Scythe is a bit of a monster on the Widow. We've seen it time and time again, and right now, it's kind of free reign. All that he has to deal with is Mouse's, not random headshots, but certainly not exactly always planned headshots, you could say.
The
But
RNG shots.
yeah, exactly, the RNG shots. But right now, using the Dragon very aggressively, just trying to push the cart, but it's not exactly there to be pushed in. Luckily, Suspects caught out pretty much alone without Winzy on him, and no heals, gets taken out on the flank, but Mouse, where are you? You get taken down by the Scythe Widow again. He's just taking out these entry picks, allowing his team to push in and potentially win. But without tanks, it's coming down to just Prism to make space with his barrage. It takes out all of Conk Knight's shield, but goes down before he can take out Conk Knight. And now it's just Ink Splash with 2.62 meters left, trying to hide as much as possible. But you can't hide forever. And it's luckily Suspect comes in to save it. Hopefully contest it for as long as possible, but with very low heals.
Yeah, it's very scrappy so far, but Nightshade, they're still finding picks in the midst of all this chaos. Suspect getting that finishing blow on the Con Knight, and this is looking like a fight win for them. That Immortality field is down, and Octave is res back up. Aragu Legend goes down to that rock from Winzy, and it's just HSG who ends up getting blown to pieces.
Yeah, to say the least, that was some really nice stall. Ink Splash was hiding, Suspect was able to touch last second, and honestly, it felt like Potaters didn't prioritize killing Cart before anything else, and Ink Splash was able to live for it, and just, I mean, it's a Mercy on the Cart. That shouldn't be able to last for very long, but it was, and that wasn't just enough for Nightshade to make it back.
There's the Flux coming out. Gets stunned up though or something? Scythe ends up killing off
stunned
Mouse,
out.
but both tanks are down for Nightshade, and now looks like Potaters will be able to push this in. But the Transcendence from Octave is going to end up saving Ink Splash last moment. Ink Splash going to go for that res. Suspect is back up. They do end up going down for it, though. Suspect is pinned off the point, though. It's just Octave who ends up going down. And that's the point finally capped with Potaters. It was not easy, though, for them.
Now we have Scythe harassing all of Potaters in the back line. Eventually goes down. And we're seeing some interesting swap. Winzy now on Hog, and Suspect on Sigma. So just saying, Suspect was on Orisa, now on Sigma. So I guess they didn't like the Orisa without a BAP, but now they're also on BAP. So this is just an interesting swap up. They're not playing as stacked, but Winzy's able to self-heal and go on these big flanks and pick off key players like HSG, not allowing Potaters to rush into them with the speed boost.
Look at the angles that Nightshade is taking. This brawl from Potaters, they can only run onto one side here. But Winzy on one side and Suspect on the other, it's just rough for them. After being spammed out from both sides, Scythe ends up killing off both supports in the meantime. And yeah, I think in all honesty, this is a good. These are some good swaps for 4-3 Nightshade.
Yeah, Winsy on the Hog, to say the least, I'd be scared. He has one of the weirder mentals of players I've met. It feels like he doesn't tilt, but he goes for hard tilted player plays, if that makes sense. He goes for these insane flanks that have no right to exist, but he wins with them, and he gets these hog hooks that on people like HSG that completely win the fight instantly. And again, Potaters lose the fight without actually investing any ults, but also no ults from Nightshade, which is just a loss on time.
Yeah, so yeah, a little under a minute and a half for them, so it's not looking good for them. But what is looking good for them is their ultimate advantage. They almost have 5 ults. Con Knight just needs to build up that shadow a little bit more. Mouse is gonna go over to the Mei, which is gonna be interesting going against this composition. Prism has this tac visor. He's on this high ground, away from the rest of the team, and now he's ready to use it. There's the sound barrier and the immortality field both out from Potaters. The grab is out as well, but Bob is there doing work, and Potaters are trying to push the point, but Scythe Bob ends up killing off Magma Boy, and they're just forced to back up.
Yeah, unlike the Brawl comp, Baptiste going down for this really odd, not completely odd, but the Hog Stig, it doesn't matter as much. Hog and Stig can just survive on their own with just a Zen, and they're able to just dish out so much damage. So right now, it's coming up on final fight. Potaters have to push this part as much as possible. And Ariga Legend gets staggered, but it's okay. There's still 20-something seconds on clock. They're chilling. They're fine. He'll respawn. He'll walk back. He'll make it to the fight in time. But his team's going to have to touch without him on them.
Yeah, that was a big waste of time, though. That stagger was very long from what I saw. And Prism ends up killing off HSG. Magma Boy can't use his ultimate either. And Con Knight goes down as he tries to win the Shatter, and this is just looking like an easy fight win for Nightshade, and that's all Potaters are going to have to be content for with that cart push. Not a very good look.
Yeah, Potaters kept trying to push up through that little stairwell to get to the high ground and allow their Reinhardt to swing, which is nice, but as soon as they turned the corner past Winsy, he just had free reign. They never even poked at Winsy. They didn't care about him. And Prism was able to sit on that backwards high ground completely behind Potaters and tack visor and even just free reign shoot and hit his Helix rockets without that much pressure.
Yeah. So, as for their defense, not sure if they're gonna roll out with something similar to what Nightshade ran, like the double shield at the beginning. Maybe that Sigma Hog that they ran on second point, or if they're just gonna opt to go for a full spawn hold, and that's what they're gonna look to be opting for: the spawn hold with the Mei, and Ariga Legend and HSG are gonna be on that Farm Mercy.
Yeah, I mean, the Farmer's is an interesting pick. Usually you see it to contest this spawn hold, but on Havana spawns, there's this very nice slanted slope of a roof that allows your Pharah to just stall up there basically forever and just dodge the enemy sight lines. But Prism, I don't believe he's gonna stay Bastion, but once they see the close hold, he's probably gonna stick on it just to be able to gun down the Reinhardt and protect this team.
He's going Bastion.
Yeah, he's rolling out on the side with Winsy. The Potatoes see it, but they have to actually stop it.
Yeah.
And missed Maywall isn't there, but there they go. They take it out. All they have to do is push up, prevent Nightshade from walking out of spawn. I like it. Magma Boy, though, gets completely shut down by Winsy with a Discord Orb out of basically nowhere, it feels like. The team was backing off, and he just got picked off.
Now Prism on the far, he ends up killing off Ariga Legend, and he kills off HSG as well. All that work done by himself from the looks of it, and that's gonna open the door immensely for 4-3 Nightshade to push this card.
Yeah, that isn't exactly what you want to see on the close hold. It didn't get to a minute on. They didn't even take a full minute for Nightshade to clean it up, and the ults for Potaters aren't looking very well. Magma Boy's not even at window yet, and they're gonna need something like that just to be able to push up and burn down the suspect shield and Winsy's just complete tanky HP.
Scythe just absolutely shuts down Ariga Legend, You know, a regular on the Tracer, he wants to contest Scythe, but Scythe is just hitting the headshots onto him. So it's very rough for him. And now Winsy getting chased down. He's already used his breather, but that immortality field is there. And Magma Boy is killed off once again by Prism. He switched to the Reaper, by the way. Very interesting with the composition like this, but it's working out for them as they keep finding picks.
Yeah, you'd say the Reaper's interesting, but the way Prism plays it, he goes on these really deep flanks and uses the self-healing that he gets just to stay alive. Anytime that he feels like he might be in danger, he can TP wherever he may feel is safest and just not die ever, basically.
Yeah, and Knight is gonna go down from that whole hug from Winsy. He's gonna kill off both tanks. This is not good for them, considering Nightshade just needs to round a couple more corners and get just like halfway through this distillery to take the series here. And now Potaters, they'd have to wait for the tanks, and Winsy is pushing up. He ends up killing off Magma Boy. Oh my god, this is just looking so bad for Potaters. They just keep getting staggered out so much, and I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Losing a map like that, I mean, especially on the Brawl, as we said time and time again, you need that Baptiste. Losing the Baptiste is basically end. And right now, the Potaters hasn't even set up to touch the point. It's only a Ragu on point. Finally goes down. Luckily, Nightshade's not touching it either, so they're not pushing it up. But at any moment, they could just force all of the Potaters to actually touch and stay on the point and basically stand still as they pick them off.
There's the grab. I don't really think he's gonna do a whole lot. Only 0.27 meters left, and that Death Blossom from Prism is gonna seal the deal for Forwardly Nightshade to take this 3-0 win.
Very dominant at the end. I mean, first map on Busan, it felt very good to see Potaters get that point, but after that, it felt like they just lost their footing, and maybe it was just the tanks from Nightshade. Suspect started on the Monkey, maybe didn't like it as much as the Reinhardt, because as soon as he swapped off of it, it seemed like the team was getting so much more success.
Yeah, Nightshade, they just look so good on that Brawl. When they ran it, when they just ran it, especially throughout especially throughout King's Road, they just look so great. Took advantage of Potaters. They were just staggering out so much, and Nightshade, they were just able to take advantage of it so well. Nightshade bringing out the Sigma Hog as well, the double shield also on Havana. It just shows how flexible they are when it comes to playing all these different team compositions, and I think that was a big part of what led to their win today.
Yeah, and I mean, for this win, it's another 3-0. This is the week of 3-0s. We've only one more match tomorrow of Catalyst versus WVU Mountaineers. And if that's a 3-0, then I don't know what really to say besides this was probably the quickest week that we've seen so far. And it's unfortunate. I'd like to cast more Overwatch and see more Overwatch, but instead, we have what we have. Some pretty dominant games, such as this one of Nightshade versus Potaters. And now we have to think about it, and we have to actually look at all these players that we've seen tonight and say who performed the best.
Dude, honestly. Yeah. I don't know. Scythe on that hit scan roll. I don't know. He was just providing so much value. Just finding picks left and right, especially when he was playing that Widow. On Havana, that's where he really shines the best, and it really showed. Prism as well. He was just playing like everything in the book. Lots of value on the Reaper, going on these nasty flanks. And Potaters, they just didn't take that into account at all. And as well as on the Mei, he was getting these great ice walls, and just great picks all around. What do you think?
Honestly, I'm gonna give it to Scythe. The man went on some very deep flanks, even deeper than Prism at some points, and that first point of Havana crushed completely. And even earlier on some of the other maps, just got value that it felt like he shouldn't have been getting.
Yeah. So yeah, our MVP is gonna be Scythe. For this match today, the man played absolutely incredibly well. We're gonna get in here for a short interview in just a minute.
Yeah, we gotta check. Make sure the guy's ready. Make sure he's freshened up, powdered his nose, all the likeness, just to see that, just to talk with us and talk about how he, how he popped off, and I suppose who he thinks, in his eyes, deserves MVP. But as we know, the player's MVP doesn't matter. Only the caster's opinions matter. Same with Twitch chat. You guys, I'm sorry. Whoever you thought MVP was, it doesn't count. You don't mean anything. Your vote doesn't actually mean anything. I'm sorry. Maybe eventually you can vote and feel good about yourself that you guessed correctly, that us, the casters, the all-knowing, the all-omnipotent, are able to just pick the actual MVP. But for now, if you picked anyone but Scythe, that's unfortunate, because you're wrong. So, hopefully he's ready, because I've run out of ways to call us better than chat and the players. So let's get him in here.
Yeah. There he is, the man himself. What is up, Scythe? How are you feeling after this game, dude?
Hey, how's it going? I'm feeling pretty good, pretty hyped that we were able to clutch out another win.
Awesome, awesome. So, yeah, so how'd you feel the moment Potaters picked Havana? And knowing how good of a hit scan player you are, how'd you feel when
Dude.
that map pick?
Havana is my favorite map to play, solely because Widow is so strong on that, and the people that know me know that I am basically a Widow OTP. So I was really excited to be able to play my character, and I had a really good time doing it.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, you'll have to hear it. Favorite map? I was talking about how most people's favorite maps is King's Row, more than probably any
Yeah.
other map. And I know a lot of people that would say they hate Havana because of exactly what you said, where you get to
Yeah.
play Widow and you get to just dominate sight lines. And I'd say that Potaters was not very happy with you, just completely crushing that first point and just not allowing them to walk past that first corner at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do it without a really great team being able to, help me out. Widow's a very much of a glass cannon. You can't really do a whole lot unless you basically have an aimbot by yourself. So it was definitely Winsy and Suspect helped me out a lot. Ink Splash with the great peel and Octave just being able to frag out. Like, it was a group effort. I just happened to have the kill feed numbers.
Nice. And when you guys were switching to that Sigma Roadhog composition on second point Havana, what was the thought process behind it, and how'd you make it work?
So Sig Hog is usually what we run with a poke comp. The thought process, I'm not going to go too much into it because other teams listen, but it's pretty much just to take advantage of the fact that snipers take off angles and you can't ignore a hog.
Right.
I don't want to go too much more into it.
Yeah, I get
but-
what you mean though.
Yeah. We got to keep the strats, dude.
Yeah. So, Bo, is there anything else you want to ask or tell Scythe before we send him back to his team?
I feel like I hyped it up a little bit. In your eyes, who would you give MVP to in your team besides yourself? Well, actually, no. You can also give it to yourself, but let's see.
It's a hard choice, honestly. Prism was very consistent, just making plays constantly. I mean, he got play of the game every map we played this match.
True.
Suspect was very proficient in just Rhine diffing. I'm not gonna get too shady, but it was a pretty big difference there. Yeah, like honestly, I'd probably give it to Suspect or Prism. They both popped off consistently all game.
Nice, nice. And yeah, thank you for the interview, Scythe. Congratulations on this MVP and congratulations on your win. We're gonna send you back to for you to celebrate with your team. You guys earned it. Great job tonight.
Appreciate it. Thanks for hosting this.
Yes, sir.
Got him out of there, kicked him out. But I mean, we got to be respectful to our MVP. He popped off, as we saw, and I mean, you gotta love some good Widow play, especially when you any clean shot is nice. But playing against it, not so much.
Yeah.
Besides that, after tonight, another 3-0. That's 4 out of 5 matches have been 3-0s. We've casted 3 of them, and it's kind of, I mean, it's a bit sad to see so many fast matches, but I want to see another one. finish it off through all 3-0s for the whole week. Hopefully, it'll happen. I don't know which side it'll be on versus in WVU versus Catalyst, but if it happens, it'd be pretty hype. It'd be a very nice looking end screen for our statistics, and it would really shake up the ranks. Any 3-0, just completely throwing off the map differential of every team. It's beautiful.
For sure, and with this 3-0 win from Nightshade, I think that's gonna put them up in the standings, back over UAH Charger Blue, because despite Charger Blue being up in those standings, I don't believe the difference between them and Nightshade in terms of map differential was too big. So Nightshade, you know, they've just been looking good, even fighting through all the down phases that they've had. With those roster changes as well, they've just been able to fight through it, and they pulled out a win today. So if they can keep that momentum going, then they could easily just bounce back and make things work.
Yeah, bounce back, come back, anything that you might want to call it. The underdogs, it's beautiful. You'll love it. But I don't even really know if we have an underdog story tomorrow for our final match of the week. Catalyst versus WVU. They're pretty high in the rankings. Catalyst, maybe not so high, but certainly not low. They've taken maps off of good teams, and they've shown that they deserve some respect. WVU has obviously demanded respect, and we've seen plenty of gameplay from them, and from both teams at least, and hopefully they'll be able to see each of them maybe trade off some maps. But as I've said, I'd like a 3-0. Make it quick. Make it a nice looking end screen.
I'll do you a favor, Bo. I'll do just that tomorrow. I got you, bro.
Oh yeah, you're playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely the team I'm rooting for, by the way. Don't worry about that at all. I wouldn't be concerned if I were you. Besides that, that's our match for tomorrow, Monday, 8 p.m. EST. Be sure to check it out. But that's all we've got. So we're gonna have to sign off, say goodnight, and have a good rest of your week, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll see y'all very soon. I promise we'll never leave you, as we've promised before. We'll never abandon you. So yeah, with all that being said, thank you guys very much, and thank you for the support as well. Have a good night.
Back 4-3 CS. We have another exciting match. I'm Jump Penny with my partner Hawkshaw here. Very excited, guys.
Yeah, the nanos are pretty hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he was here now, I'd probably kiss him.
Oh yeah, of course.
Those ultimates were built faster than someone would get canceled on Twitter for saying K-pop sucks. That was a scrappy fight if I've ever seen one.
Here we go. MJ Reyes is maybe reporting in Gen Chat that he's drinking a 2-liter. Here we go.
Indeed, what's going on?
Not much is going on. I know that what's about to be going on is a very exciting match between two of the top teams as far as the standings are concerned. How do you guys feel about Nightshade going in this matchup?
We're not too concerned. We're hoping for a quick 3-0 because I got a date with the suspect's mother after this at around let's see, 9 o'clock, so
9
Eastern
o'clock.
time. So I'm hoping for a quick 3-0. So I gotta catch this date. I'm taking her to. She's a classy girl, so she wants to go to Longhorns.
I'm making the great escape through the mini room and being back with this team to again keep doing up the DPS. Shadow comes in but is blocked by their own wall from Edgy. Unfortunate.
And they do it again. MJ Reyes. Look who's closer to Shatter. Look who's closer to Shatter. It's MJ Reyes. CQ1 has some ground to cover here.
And don't forget, from what we saw last time, this is a defensive team. I don't know what it is, but they're just better on the defense than they are on the offense.
Oh, he can't stop somebody!
Yeah, of course that barrage is going to be online too very soon, but then the only support ult that we're going to see, it'll be interesting to see what kind of difference that can make as the high noon comes out immediately. There's the grab, there's the window, there's the immortality field, but the barrage is huge, gets up 4 5K, oh my god!
What a
That's
huge play
brutal.
by Icy there, cleaning up the rest of the team through a grab and a window and an immortality.
Your ranked games. Don't just randomly throw your tire, run it down main. It's gonna get broken. You're gonna get no value. You're not Prism.
A good window placement, immortality saving the team many, many times.
Absolutely. Now they're coming into this. Both sides have this beat. It'll be interesting to see which side can sustain the longest. A true testament, but the
Oh
Shadow
my
doesn't make that
God.
easy. Me 98. Good God, man. Let them live.
What a very good play by me 98.
Honestly, I don't like the taste of coffee. It's not my favorite. And even the people that I do know that like coffee, they put so much sugar in, it almost seems nasty.
That's me. I'm that guy.
Like, it just feels unhealthy, right?
Right.
So
Exactly.
And then I start thinking, right? And I'm like, well, I mean, there's got to be a sugarless way to get caffeine in my daily